Hey there, everyone. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Amber.
We're identical twin sisters from Southern California. While we may look exactly alike, sometimes we think that's all we have in common.
We invite you to grab a cup of coffee
Or a glass of wine.
and hang out with us for a little bit.
This is Hashtag Twin Life Podcast.
Hello. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Hey, twin.
What's up, twin?
Nothing. Just, we are doing a podcast this week that is going to be only audio, so it's actually so much easier this way.
Oh my gosh. I kind of miss the days when we could just record the podcast like this because, guys, you don't understand how much work it is to get beat every Sunday.
It was your idea.
It was my idea, and as much as I appreciate it, I enjoy the result. Like, I really like our videos. It gives me something productive to do, but in the process of moving and relocating, like, it's really difficult to do. So I don't know. I don't know what we'll do, but
Maybe we'll I think we should finish out the whole year doing the video version, and then if for some reason next year we want to rebrand, then we can.
and then, if we want to just do audio only at some point, we can. Because I mean, we are a podcast, and we are originally a podcast, and I think it kind of takes the relaxation out of doing a podcast when you have to get dressed to do it, sort of. But
Yeah.
it's nice to be able to talk to Ashley face to face. You guys can kind of get to know us really well through our videos and really understand our personalities and stuff. But either way, but yeah. So how's your? Oh, by the way, if you're listening, well, since you are only listening to this week, please make sure that you leave a comment, subscribe, and on any podcast platform now, pretty much that anybody would use, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio. Make sure that you set up your subscribe so you get notifications whenever we have a new episode, which is every Wednesday. And also leave a comment. Comments are good. And rate us 5 stars. We would love that as well.
Yes, and all that jazz. And interact with us on social, too, because we love when people interact with us on social. But okay, so my week. So this week has been pretty normal, in the sense that nothing super exciting has happened. We just been, it's actually cooled down, thankfully. I think the last 2 podcasts I've been saying, we've had a heat wave. We don't have a heat wave this week. It's going to be in the 70s, and I think in the night it's going to drop into the 50s. So I'm very excited to turn off my, I'm very excited to turn off my AC and just not turn it on anymore for the next 4 months or something. So, because our energy bills are ridiculous. Our electric bill, I was so frustrated because we just got the bill a couple of days ago, and I was just so frustrated because I feel like I try so hard to not use, I sit in the house with no lights. I only turn on my TV, which is the smallest TV and the most energy saving TV. I sit I leave the house, I turn off the AC at 6 a.m. And I don't use it the whole day. And it just still, the bill is super high. Derek's babe, just use the AC. It's really not going to affect it. I feel like there's literally nothing else I can do. I don't know. So anyways, what else happened this week? Oh, so we're starting an F45, a challenge at F45 on Monday. And we're doing our big weigh-in and everything on Tuesday. Or on Sunday and Monday. I don't know which day I'm going to weigh in. Probably Monday because I don't go on Sundays. So we're doing that. So I'm excited but kind of nervous about it too, because there's all these prizes you can win and all this stuff. So I'm super competitive. So I want to do really well.
I'm sure you're gonna do really good. You're super motivated and dedicated to it. So I don't see why you wouldn't do well.
Yeah, I'm not really gonna change anything. I'm just gonna do the same thing I've been doing this whole time. So hopefully that's enough to win something. But how is your week's been kind of exciting?
Oh my gosh, this week it's just
started a new job, right? So that was on Monday.
So that was great. Started a new job. It got pushed back a week, so we actually ended up getting here a week early, which did not bless either of us because I don't know about y'all, but most people don't have all this money to be spending on
relocating
for the second time in the last 6 months. So it was just like, it was a little bit frustrating. It's getting less frustrating. But it's just things that we had planned for were just different once we got here. And we found out the reason was because there was like a tragedy amongst one of the executives. So that, did I tell you about that, Twin?
Yeah, there was like a truck accident or something.
Yeah, there was an accident. I don't want to like put this man's business on blast, but there was an accident, and so there was like a huge tragedy over the fall break here in Indy. So they kind of took the week off, and they didn't like share that all with Blake because he hadn't officially started. And I guess they didn't want to like overload him, but I guess it was the person that's kind of sitting here going, "Hey, like this is what we expected." I was pretty frustrated with the delay. But he did start. Today is Friday, so this is officially his last. Oh yeah, we are recording on a Friday. We normally record on Sundays, but again,
Sunday, Thursday, whatever day we can get it done.
Yeah, we just get it. Yeah, we get it recorded whenever we can get it done. So, but yeah, so it's been interesting. But we've got a little apartment that the company owns that we're going to be staying in for the next couple weeks. And then once Blake gets his first official pay, then we'll be able to put, we actually found a little house that we like a lot in a neighborhood that we love. So hopefully it doesn't get rented before he gets his first pay. But that's kind of like our plan. And then, so we've been staying in a hotel, which is not my favorite thing, but hotels are nice for vacation.
Short periods of time.
Yeah, for short periods of time. And when you're not we have like all of our stuff here except for like our furniture. So all of our clothes and stuff. So it's a lot of bags and like living out of a suitcase. But it's a little adventure. So hopefully, our plan is before Thanksgiving, not by Thanksgiving, before Thanksgiving, we plan to be decently settled. We may not have all of our furniture and stuff here, but we plan to be decently settled before Thanksgiving. So that's kind of our goal. But otherwise, I managed to get Landon to take a nap so that we could record the podcast today because Blake is at work right now. But I was like, I wonder if I can get Landon to go to sleep so that we could get the podcast recorded, because the little house that we're going to be staying in, like, it's basically empty. So there's no like Wi-Fi or anything. So I was like, I don't know how I'm about to do the podcast this week. So
yeah,
thought I'd get it in, make it a little bit easier for our weekend to transition. So
yeah, for some reason, just need him to sleep for 45 minutes and we'll be good.
Yeah, which sometimes he sleeps for he'll sleep for 2 or 3 hours sometimes. So I'll definitely, I think he'll stay asleep long enough for us to get the podcast recorded and me take a shower. That'd be great.
Yeah. So I really wanted to briefly touch on The Bachelor because I know we have a really good topic, but I think it kind of has to do with our topic. So I guess we can I feel like we should talk about it a little bit.
Okay, well then let me do my Did You See first, and then we can use that to kind of catalyst into our topic.
Perfect.
So what is your Did You See? Is that what your Did You See is, The Bachelor?
Yeah.
Okay. So mine is, Chris Pratt. If you live in a box and you don't know who Chris Pratt is, he plays Star-Lord, or Pete. What is his name? What's his actual name? Peter or something? I don't remember. I think it's Peter. From Guardians of the Galaxy, and
he's also Jurassic World.
Yeah, he's also the whole Jurassic series, the brand new the reboot Jurassic series. And so obviously he's a pretty famous actor, but I guess he posted something on social media, and I can actually read it because I saved it and I saved the screenshot of it in my photos. He got a lot of backlash because he posted something that people thought was insensitive. It was kind of making a joke about voting, and all the celebrities have felt it's important for them to show that they're voting. So it's social media just keeps exploding with all these different people posting, I voted, or have you voted yet? You should vote. This is why, we posted one on our social media. A lot of celebrities have been posting theirs. And so he made a comment because the People's Choice Awards are also coming up. So that's another big vote thing that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So he posted, this was on, I guess it was on October 2nd. He wrote, with all that's going on in the world, it is more important than ever that you vote. Just ask any celebrity. They will tell you every day, several times a day, to vote. But me, I will tell you exactly who to vote for. #onward. The heroes before us did not spill their blood only to have their sacrifice wasted by your apathy. The upcoming 2020 People's Choice Awards is the most consequential vote in the history of mankind times a million infinity. So I think that's kind of funny.
I think it's funny.
And people came for him because I guess they just felt like he was making light of like a serious thing, but it's so much better than this stereotypical thing we've been seeing, which is like celebrities holding their ballots or pointing to their vote sticker or whatever. And then the thing, it's like, make sure you vote. Like, it's so important now, more than ever. It's important that we vote and you use your voice. All those things are important. But it is nice to have somebody come in and like, obviously
bring some levity.
Yeah. And like, he's obviously being satirical. Like, obviously he knows the People's Choice Award isn't that important. Like, it is, but it's not. It's honestly not even it is. It's not important at all. Like, it's great. It's an honor to get an award, but it's not like voting. Like, it doesn't affect anybody's well-being. It doesn't affect the livelihood of the country, blah, blah, blah. So obviously you can tell there's satire in his comment. So apparently, like, a lot of the cast members of the Avengers, including Robert Downey Jr., came back and were just like, he's a great guy. Like, he was clearly joking. Why are we being
chill out.
Yeah. So, but the hashtag that went around was that he's the worst Hollywood Chris, because obviously there's 3 Chris's.
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, there's Chris Pratt, Chris Hemsworth, and Chris, the one that plays Captain America, Evans.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's 3 Chris's in the Avengers world. So that hashtag, the worst Hollywood Chris, has been going around because he posted that, which I just think is so ridiculous. Like,
I was looking at E the other day because I saw this on there, and I guess, like, when I was looking in the comments on there, because they were like, oh, Chris Pratt's upset because he's got voted the worst Chris, and apparently E! News kind of started that. Like, I guess they put his post up on their app. I didn't see it, or not their app, on their Instagram. I didn't see it, but apparently they put it up and, like, put a poll to say, like, is he the worst Chris on E! News. So people were like, so when they posted that, like, oh, people are being insensitive and Chris is upset because he's called the worst Chris, people were in the comments like, didn't y'all start this? Like, was I wrong? I just saw you put up a poll that asked who the worst Chris was, and now you're being all sensitive because he's upset. Like, you started it. Like, that makes no sense. So.
Shade.
Yeah, all the shade. Yeah, that's crazy though. I think people need to just chill out. I feel like it's funny. So obviously I laughed. So yeah. I think it's funny.
So I was like, oh my God. Because people come for Chris Pratt because I think Robert Downey Jr.'s thing was something about him being like the most Christian, but the kindest, but like he shows the best side of Christianity, something like that Robert Downey Jr. said.
Yeah.
Because like he obviously, people, if you don't know by now, like he's an outspoken like Christian and like very proud of his beliefs and his Christianity, and so he's never really saying anything bad about people. He's always like, people will just always try to come for him for no reason. Like,
he seems like so nice.
But he's just so like, when he says sarcastic things on social media, I don't understand why people don't take it the same way they take like, what's his name that plays Deadpool?
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. He posts some of the most appalling things on his Twitter about his kid and his and Blake Lively, and they're all in fun, and like I think Chris Pratt's a comedian. Like, he's done some serious quote unquote roles, but he's clearly a comedian, and so people just need to chill out. So, but anyways, okay, so we can move on to The Bachelor. So for the record, still haven't watched The Bachelor this week, Twin. So
you haven't watched it yet?
No, because I've been trying to watch it with Blake because he said he wanted to watch it, and then Landon's up at 3 a.m. every day, so he's fallen asleep.
Okay, so we're not going to, I wasn't planning on doing like a full-blown recap, but I just wanted to address something in it because it does segue into our topic, which basically started because you and I had a conversation about basically like the American like purity culture and like how other countries might think we're prude and other countries think we're super over-sexualizing things and people and whatever. So if you haven't watched The Bachelor, this is not a spoiler because they show this in the preview.
Oh, so she really did do this, didn't she?
Okay, so let me just break it down because the way they put it in the preview, it seems like really like it seemed a lot more in fun in the show than in the preview. So basically, the guys are playing dodgeball because, of course, why would they not play some sort of sport? and she decides that it's going to be strip dodgeball. So every time they did a bunch of different rounds of dodgeball, and the team that lost had to like undress. They put them in Speedos, shorts, ankle high or knee high socks, and a t-shirt. So like every time you lost a round, you had to like undress. Well, so one team got brutally murdered. Like one team literally didn't have to take off anything, and the other team was like down to their freaking Speedos. And that was as far as it went. So the reason that the guys ended up getting naked was because the game was done when they got down to their Speedos. The reason they got naked was because they were kind of just like, screw it, and they all just took off their Speedos, the losing team. So it wasn't that she asked them to do it. They just all did it.
That's even worse, twin.
I don't think it's worse because it's one thing for her to be like, okay, drop your shorts, let me see your penises, and for them to just take them off and be like, whatever, screw it.
They're both horrible.
Why?
Because she got flashed by 6'5" whatever dudes.
She didn't seem upset.
Okay, but still. I mean, I'm sure the producers were like, guys, wouldn't it be funny if? But come on.
For Amber, seriously, the only thing you couldn't see was their man parts. Like, they literally had them in thong Speedos. There's not that much left she hugged them all too, butt naked. Because they were just going to leave. They were just going to be like, all right, we'll leave. She's like, wait, what about my hugs? She hugged every single one of them. She clearly doesn't care. I mean, I feel like she's 39. She's probably seen a penis or two in her life. So
that's just okay. So my thoughts. The women's activist rights part of me is like, that is it's kind of sexual assaulty type situation where these 5 men just think that I care to see their penises.
She was the one that said that they should play strip dodgeball.
Okay, I guess you're right. She did set it up.
I mean, if you're saying strip, let's go. Like, strip is all the way down, technically.
I guess.
Like, she didn't say, oh, we're going to play shirtless dodgeball. No, that's not what she said. She said booty, like, basically they covered up just enough so that even in their Speedos, they still had to put the black box. That's how little of them was covered.
Okay.
So, Derek and I were watching this, okay, and this is going to segue great into this. So me and Derek are watching this, and I was like, there's a couple things wrong. Obviously, on the other hand, if it was women...
So many things wrong.
If it was women, people would lose it if that was women. If the guy was like, we're playing, here's a bunch of women, we're going to play strip dodgeball, and the losing team has to get bootied, like, down to their freaking string bikinis, people would never watch The Bachelor again. Yeah. Like, people would be appalled, right?
Yeah. If you haven't listened to our podcast about double standards,
we can link the double standards episode because that we talk about that. But it's just seriously like, there's no way they would get away with it. Derek was like, well, yeah, they couldn't even think, like, again, one of those situations, they couldn't even think about doing that. Like, they couldn't even, like, sort of do that. My thought process is, though, there are women that would be like, yeah, screw it. I'm going to get booty. Like, because the reality is, yes, all the people around you and on the set are going to see you naked, but America is not going to see you naked.
True.
And they know that because it's ABC. It's not HBO or Netflix. No one's going to see you naked. They're just going to put little black boxes around the parts that matter. They might see your booty cheeks, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, they see just as much. We, as an audience, see just as much. So the idea would be like, I feel like there's definitely some women who would just be like, oh, you want to get naked? Let's get naked. There's been girls that have gotten naked before. So, I mean...
On Bachelor in Paradise, not on The Bachelor.
I feel like there was a girl that got naked one time on The Bachelor.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
I don't remember who it was, but I just feel like there's definitely... Okay, so let's get into the part, because Derek was he was just kind of like... He said it was less appalling to him watching it than it seemed in the previews leading up to it, because, they do like today on The Bachelor or whatever, tonight on The Bachelor. So it seemed really like, I was like, babe, I was like, she literally just made these men just get freaking naked. Like,
yeah, Blake was like, did she really? I mean, did she? I was like, babe, I don't know. I haven't watched it. I don't know. It's a preview.
No, yeah, she saw some man parts. Yeah.
No, but Blake was worried. Like, his concern was, did she request that these men drop trout in front of her? Like, that is horrible. I mean, I'm gonna have to watch it, but anyways, okay. So So what were Derek's thoughts?
Derek's thoughts were basically, I told him, I was like, me and Derek need to do a Bachelor recap together because he has all the thoughts. Okay. So he was just like, he obviously felt like neither of us came to the point that you thought where it was like, oh my gosh, she's getting exposed to all these men, because she didn't seem uncomfortable. I mean, obviously she hugged them. She did not care at all. Chris Harrison, on the other hand, was uncomfortable. When they returned back to the hotel, the guys were super uncomfortable because they were just like sitting there butt naked on the couch with like pillows covering their stuff, talking to them, and these guys were like, I really don't want to sit next to you, like, and they were like, y'all need to steam clean these couches, like, I don't want to touch anything anymore, like, they were so grossed out by it. And Derek was just like, I just think it's like, it was very shocking that they all got naked, and he did feel like, you know, this is really weird that she's just like, let's just all strip down and da-da-da-da-da. And it was like, it's basically what we said, where it's just like, very much a double standard. Like, there's no way they could have done this with women. And then I asked him, I was like, would you have gotten naked, babe? He was like, I mean, I guess if I was on the show, I wouldn't have a problem doing that. He's like, I probably wouldn't have taken my Speedo off, though. I would have just kept it on. Like, I feel like that was a lot. There was a couple of guys that kept theirs on. So, but I was like, it reminded me of a locker room, kind of. Like, all these dudes, they've seen a lot. As a guy, you've seen a lot of other men naked. If you played any sport.
I mean, you've got 3 professional football players on there.
Yeah.
So, like, 3 of them. And I'm sure a lot of the other ones played college ball or whatever. So, like, you've got some clearly athletic, not just athletic, but athletes on this season of The Bachelor. Or The Bachelorette, so for them, I think it was probably less awkward than it was for everyone else. But I'm gonna have to watch it.
Okay, so on that same note, we kind of started talking about this because we've seen a lot of posts on Instagram of like Kim Kardashian where she's naked and her butt basically broke the internet, you know, a few years ago, or just like some of the people that we follow on social, or the men that we follow on social, or the women, with like these just nude photos of themselves on social media. And sometimes, in my opinion, and I feel like we kind of agreed on this, I feel like there's no need to post your naked self on the internet.
I agree.
Like, I just don't understand. For one, on the one hand, if you're going to post yourself naked on the internet, then at least do it somewhere where you're going to get paid, like OnlyFans. Why do it for free?
Like, I posted on Instagram where, like, you're literally not getting paid for it.
Like, if you're going to be naked, you might as well get paid, right? That's confusing to me. That's the first thing. The second thing, I also think there's a boundary there where it's like, there's certain levels of nudity I'm okay with, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just we've got brainwashed as young women. But male or female, in my opinion, I hate both. Male or female, if you are full frontal facing me in a photo, I think that's too much. I can handle, like, you turn to the side, with you covering your chest or your, you know, private area or whatever, and you're like turned to the side or whatever, or like just your back or whatever. I can handle that. But when you turn full face, I feel like that's when the line gets crossed of like, okay, really? Is it like that necessary?
Like Game of Thrones status, like nakedness.
Nudity. Yes.
Yeah. Because there was a couple times where I was just like, watching Game of Thrones, I was like, come on, like, I really don't want to see, there was somebody that I was just like, that of all the people that on this show that we would have seen naked, you're not the freaking person who wanted to see naked. You know, I mean, barring like they had some hookers on Game of Thrones that were naked, but that's HBO, and you're like, and it's rated that. Like, you go when you watch a show on HBO that's set in like the medieval times, you're probably going to see some nudity. That's part of it. Again, like, do people still think that it was a little over-sexualized? Yes, but it's different on social media where you're just out there posting your own nakedness.
Like, and also, if it's not even like, I don't purposely follow people because I want to see like nudity. So it shocks me when I'm like, oh my gosh, like
your social media, like that's a naked person.
Somebody's naked. I'm like, why am I seeing a naked person? Like I'm not trying to see any naked people, you know? So so that's kind of where we got in this conversation about like,
are we too prude? Like,
yeah, are we too prude as Americans? Yeah, like, and in my opinion, I would say no. I don't think that we are. I think we have a good balance. I think other countries take it a little bit too far towards the purity standards as far as like what you physically, and the thing about purity though is purity is actually more of a mind state than it is like actual physical like appearance. But like as far as like being prude, like we definitely don't want to just, we don't even have statues around with naked people like they do in Greece. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, or in any other European countries. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like, there's so many ways to go, I guess. You have like notes here, so I'm like just like reading over them.
Yeah, I think that what kind of started, like really not started, but really got my mind turning in the last week was that like we both watched Emily in Paris. If you haven't watched Emily in Paris on Netflix, it's actually a very good show. But there was one. Well, first of all, she goes to Paris, and obviously Parisians have a different mindset about just about everything. And I feel like they do a good job of balancing out like her very American way of looking at the world and their very Parisian way of looking at the world. There was one scene where her boss, her boss is technically this woman, but her boss's client, they take her on this set, and the concept that she is told is that this beautiful woman is walking across this bridge, and she's being gawked at by all these men, and the perfume is what is drawing their attention. But what happens is she just strips down naked and walks down the street, walks down the bridge. And she's like, that doesn't get the point across. Nobody's going to think that like the essence or the fragrance of the perfume is what these men are looking at. No, if you put a badass chick in like in a suit and she's walking down the street in sunglasses and her bag, like she's on her way to work, and then her fragrance is what's picking up the attention, then you can say the fragrance is picking up her attention. But if she's walking naked down a bridge, like that doesn't do anything. That's diminishing her mind. That's diminishing any of her accomplishments. It's putting the focus on her body, which is apparently the only thing she has to offer, and on nothing else about her. And the weird part was her boss seemed to want to defend, the female lady seemed to defend the fact that, I mean, I have no issue with my sexuality. I'm perfectly fine using it in whatever way that I want to use it, and blah blah blah. But that's coming from somebody who is obviously very conservative in the way that they dressed in general, which is one of the reasons she didn't like Emily, because Emily was very like colorful and bright and like energetic in the way she dressed in her personality, and her boss was the opposite of that. But then didn't have any issue like over sexualizing a situation or using sex as like ammunition or bait or whatever. So I just thought that was like really interesting, a different perspective, because to me I'm just like, that's obviously a man thought that was a good idea. In other words,
I think the other thing that he said also was that she has all the power because she's the one that's naked. I think that's a very interesting perspective, because that's kind of the perspective that a lot of people have over like, oh, let's post our breasts on Instagram. Let's post our whatever because I have all the power because I am I'm choosing to do this. And it's like, okay, great. You do have a lot of power, I guess, in that situation. However, I feel like and it sounds victimizing whenever somebody says this, but I feel like in this situation, if you're a woman walking down the street naked, I feel like you are definitely seeking attention.
Yeah.
You're not walking down the street naked just because you want to. Just because you're actively wanting attention. And you want to stir a conversation or get people to whisper about it or whatever it may be. You're not just doing it out of the good kindness of your heart to say like, oh, I just like some of these captions on Instagram, like, oh, I'm trying to promote women empowerment and we need to not, we need to normalize the naked body and this and this. And when we talked about this, I have a problem with that statement. Normalizing things that are normal, but aren't normal in public. Like taking a shit. Nobody wants to watch somebody else take a shit. Nobody wants to watch somebody, like, most people don't want to watch other people have sex. Like, you don't want to meet your neighbor and then the next day see them having sex outside your door.
Yeah. It's
like,
one thing
not
if you see them, like, through their window, their window, that they, like, it's one thing if they're in their own home and you just happen to be walking by your window and they're having sex. Like, you're like, okay, yeah, you could have closed your window, but that's your house. But it's another thing to be walking down the street and, like, seeing somebody have sex on a bench, which is illegal. Or seeing somebody pee in public, also illegal. Like, those are just things that apparently in Paris it's not illegal. Apparently they have urinals on the street. Learned that watching Emily in Paris.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like there's multiple things. Like, people always use, there's prime examples that people use. Obviously breastfeeding is like the number one thing that women really fight for, is their right to be able to breastfeed in public. I don't mind you breastfeeding in public, but as, like, when I was waiting tables, I literally would go up to a table and this woman would just pop out her boob and start breastfeeding while I'm taking her order. And I'm like, and I would be like, ma'am, like, you couldn't have waited till I was done. Like, I don't want to stand here and stare at your boob while you're taking an order. Like, yeah, I could see her whole, like, the color of her boob. I knew the nipple, what her nipple looks like. Like, she just popped her boob out and stuck her baby on it. And I'm like, I just don't want to see. It's not because I think breastfeeding is gross. It's not because I don't think breastfeeding is something beautiful and it should be something that's, like, it's important to the health of your baby and all those things. No, I just feel like it's healthy to poop also. Like, that just doesn't mean that we need to be seeing it.
Yeah. And it's also, there's another thing too, which we touched on in a couple of podcasts ago about, like, when it comes to parenting, just like things that people want to put on the internet about their kids.
Right.
Like photos that they want to put out of their kids. And it's like, I don't understand why you want to put these videos out of your kid, like,
running around naked in the house.
Running around naked. Like a good example is, like, where there's, like, kind of a line, is if you have a little girl or you have a little boy, right? So obviously, when you're a toddler, a little girl and a little boy look the same physically, besides their, like, their
faces and their lower body. But
yeah, besides
belly button up, they pretty much look.
They look, yeah. If you didn't know that one, like, if I was like, that's a little boy, you'd be like, okay, like, you're not gonna know. If I told you it was a little boy, it's a little boy, unless you change their diaper, and then you would know. But people are very sensitive about things like putting your older son and your younger daughter in a bathtub together, or vice versa, putting them in a bathtub together, or you being in the bathtub with your kids,
right?
And as parents, I shower with my son all the time. Am I going to post a video of it on Instagram? Or am I going to post a video? Am I going to let Derek take a video of me bathing with Phoenix so I can post on Instagram? No. Am I going to, even with Derek, Phoenix and Derek shower together, am I going to put that on Instagram? No, because to me, that's our choice and private. And as parents, it's more, there's so many benefits, but one, it's more efficient too. He can shower by himself mostly, but honestly, it's not even really that safe right now because he could slip and fall and we need to be in there anyways. And, like, it's just, like, still kind of like an iffy situation. Now, in 2 or 3 years, he'll be showering pretty much by himself. I will probably still go in there on occasion just to, like, bring him a towel or bring him this. Like, I think it's just part of being a mom. Like, you're going to see your kids naked for a while, probably. Just is what it is. So that's total, but at the same time,
they're uncomfortable with it, honestly.
Right, until they're uncomfortable. And I'm not out here broadcasting it like, oh, this is so natural, me bathing with my kid. Yes, it is natural, but people don't need to see it. You know why people don't need to see it? Because people turn things that are innocent into things that are gross all the time.
Right.
So, and yeah, okay, so we don't want to have to filter ourselves for the gross people. Sorry, that's the world we live in with social media.
Yeah.
Like,
if you're going to I just feel like it's very, because we've definitely seen, like, there's this person I know that was upset because their Facebook got shut down because they posted a picture of their daughter and son, both topless, hugging on their social media. And I guess she had gotten a warning originally, and then the second time Facebook locked her out of her Facebook for a few weeks. And she was upset about it, and she didn't understand why she got locked out. And I'm like, because like, no, like it's not that nobody quote unquote wants to see it, but if you think that picture is super adorable, then you mass text it to your family members. You don't need to freaking post it on social media where anybody could get to it. Anybody could copy it. Anybody could post it somewhere. Anybody could, if they really wanted to screenshot it on their phone and crop it and post it somewhere, they could. They're not going to be able to right click and save it, but they could definitely get it. Yeah. You could find a way to post it, and you just don't want to put your kids in a position where any photo of them on social media is something that could possibly be inappropriate. I don't post any revealing photos of Landon. One, because it's going to be, if you just think of it from like a simple perspective, like, okay, so there's not gross people anymore, cool. But Landon's going to be older, and he's not going to want his friends to be able to like look up his old naked photos on his mom's Instagram page or Facebook. Or his Facebook. Like, you have to think about your kids not from just your perspective as raising them, because you were a kid at one point. You were like, how embarrassing was it, like, even simply when we were kids, if your mom broke out the naked baby picture of you when your friends came over or your boyfriend or whatever came over, and you're like, oh my God.
That's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. So imagine how embarrassing it would be if, like, they have naked pictures that their entire high school can see on social media.
Yeah.
So it's just important that people just really, I guess, pay more attention. Like, sexuality is definitely something that in the United States that I feel like people are constantly battling with, what the rights are, what people's rights to their own body are. Yes, you have the right perfectly to post pictures of yourself naked on social media. That's totally your prerogative. But I think where I have the issue is a good example. So you have two different content creators on social media. One is a content creator that has, like, gorgeous, perfect body, has had some work done, and is posting naked pictures that are professionally photographed photos of themselves naked. And the caption is that we should normalize naked bodies. Okay. The other one is somebody who also posts naked pictures of themselves, but they're personally shot by themselves in their own home. She doesn't have a flawless body, and the posts that she's posting are to show all of her wrinkles, her rolls, her freckles, she's posted one of her back knee, her shoulder acne. Her with no makeup on, because she has a bunch of acne on her face you can see it when she's at makeup, and her posts are normalized normal bodies. The message is different. The action can be considered, you say the action's the same. You're both posting naked pictures of each other, but you're both posting naked pictures of yourselves, but the message is different. So you can't you can't have, 10,000 men following you on social media and say that you're trying to promote women positivity. No, you're not. You've got 10,000 guys following you. That's not the same thing. When you have 100,000 people and 90% of them are women following you, then you're getting your message across. You're catering to your audience. You're doing something, contributing something positive. I just feel like you need to be true to what your message is. If your Instagram is for, like, to promote sexuality, and, like, maybe you're a stripper or you're a porn star or whatever, and people follow you because they want to see you in sexual positions or sexual ways or sexual photos or whatever, then that's you. Be you. But don't try to wrap it in some, like, bow of, like, well, I'm just really trying to promote, female empowerment. No, you're not. That's not what you're doing. You're not trying to do that.
I think the skewed message is where it's frustrating. It's like, I think sometimes people are like, well, it's not my job to make sure the message is clear or that it's not my job to make sure the message is clear to the person receiving it. If they receive it differently, then that's on them. That's wrong. It's your job as the person sending the message to make it as clear as possible. And if a handful of people don't understand it, because that's the case, just like we were talking about Chris Pratt earlier, a handful of people aren't going to understand the message. That's totally fine. But he also, which is probably going to happen, is you have to take accountability for the fact that some people were offended. Like, a perfect example, and then we probably should get to our Go Girls. Derek and I just took family photos this week, and they turned out amazing. So I brought a bunch of, like, some pumpkins with me, because I was like, okay, let's just try to make this as fall as possible. Just, like, put a little pumpkin off to the side. And then I kept thinking about this. I was like, if we put a pumpkin anywhere in this photo, people are going to think we're doing a pregnancy announcement.
Why?
because people in the fall, they have the little pumpkin that they hold, and it, like, signifies, like, was your phone ringing?
Yeah, sorry. I'll just text Blake really quick and tell him I'm still recording.
Okay. Usually it signifies, like, a new baby. I've seen multiple birth announcements where, like, they hold the little pumpkin to their belly, or, like, the pumpkin's off to the side and everyone's just kind of, like, looking and, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I had brought a bunch of big pumpkins, like one giant pumpkin or something, then people probably wouldn't have thought the same thing. My point is, I could put that out there and be like, yeah, I thought ahead. But I could put that out there and be like, guys, like, we're totally not pregnant. Like, why would you think that? Like, that's dumb. Like, well, because you have a freaking pumpkin in the photo. Oh, I never thought about that. It's my job as the person writing the message to make it as clear as possible and to understand the possibilities of how it's going to be received. There's this sense of, like, oh, we're just going to put the message out there and who cares how it's received? No. And I think that we need to be, I guess, in, like, some closing thoughts. I don't know. I guess, like, maybe we should just be a little bit more aware, of the message and how
it's just as important. No, you're not going to be able to appease everybody. But what you do need to do is make sure that your conviction in your message is being expressed in the best way possible. Because you know, if you go on Miley's social media, her mindset of what women empowerment is different than what somebody else who's a little bit more conservative would be, right? But when she posts things about women empowerment, it's in a very loud, in your face, gaudy way. But you can't miss the message. You don't misinterpret Miley's message when it comes to, like, all across the board female empowerment. That is, like, her,
and her brand
mindset.
Is consistent.
Yeah, it's consistently loud and in your face.
Yeah,
that's her brand. So, but I think that in general, I guess no, I don't think that the U.S. is, like, as a whole is too prude. I think that we do a good job because we have so many different cultures of balancing it out, and I think everybody's going to have one side or the other. But I do think that, like, I mean, even when we were talking last week or the week before about Cuties, isn't that what that show's called?
Yeah,
that was made in France. One of my arguments was, well, that's kind of their culture. They're a little over. We consider them overly sexualized in their culture, so maybe they don't think it's weird. Maybe they just think it's normal. But obviously, in the United States, in our mindset, it's like black and white. That's gross. Black and white. That should never happen. Black and white. That's taking advantage of those kids. You know. So I think that as a country, we generally put other people's well-being and their psychological health and, like, other people ahead of our own personal stuff. In general, we think some things should be kept private. I think that's kind of, like, what we feel as a country. Ironically, even though we're so obsessed with social media here, we created social media, I still think that there's still some things that people try to hold close to the breast. Like, we really just don't, you know, and people should keep that in mind. So, especially if you have babies, like, just be mindful of, like, if you're shooting a live video or, you know, Gabe and Babe do a great job of this. Like, they shoot lives all the time. They were potty training Reagan for a long time, and they did a fantastic job of us never, like, she never was exposed on anything they recorded. They made sure if it was live that they never let her walk in, near, around. Like, they were on it. It was very important to them to not have her be exposed. And even though as a parent, if, like, you know, some lady lifted up was potty training her little girl at the park yesterday, and she didn't have any underwear on. This little girl, like 2 years old, didn't have any underwear on. Was wearing a little dress, but didn't have any underwear on. And her mom literally lifted up the back of her dress and patted her on the butt. And I was like, oh my, like, I really didn't want to see your little girl's butt. Like, why did you expose your little girl's butt to me? You know, like, why? She should have a diaper or underwear or pull up on. Yeah, out in public. You know. So, anyways, do we want to get to our go girls and no girls?
Yes.
Okay, go first.
Okay, so I have a no girl this week, and it basically is just that I ran over my toe on Saturday and because we recorded on Thursday, it happened after we recorded. I ran over my toe with the sled at F45, so, like, I literally hurt my toe, like, it hurt. So what happened was, the very first set we do, and, like, the way it works is, like, normally you do, like, 3 laps of the circuit, and then you like rest in between. Well, they changed it because of COVID standards that we do all 3 laps at the same station. So you just do like stay at the same station for 3 sets, and then you rotate to the next station in 3 sets, and same thing as you go up. So I was at the very first station, the end of the very first set of the first station, and there was going to be 15 more stations. We were supposed to push the sled forward, and then we were supposed to reverse and pull the sled, and then push and pull. And on the pullback, I just literally rolled right over my freaking toe. Oh my gosh, it hurt so bad. Like, and I finished the workout, but like, I got home, and I had Derek look at it, and like, I had jammed like the inside of my toenail like into my skin, and so it was like kind of bleeding. Like, it wasn't like gushing, but it was like kind of bleeding. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like, my very next thought was like, 1, I'm glad I have a rest day tomorrow, and 2, I really hope like nothing bad happens. Like, I took my shoe off like halfway through the workout because it was hurting so bad, and I was concerned that like I had done something really horrible to my toe, and I hadn't. So I was just like, okay, I can finish working out. Like, my toenail's not lifted. I'm not like gushing blood or anything. So I just finished the workout. So I don't know if that's a go girl or a no girl or a combination, but yeah, so it was pretty rough.
Yeah, I think what's combination of both. Mine is a go girl, and that I got invited to a mom's group at the park.
Yay!
I was so happy. I like went to one of the girls. That's who I was talking about. One of the ladies there, but it was just like these 4 moms that were at this park that Landon and I went to. It was just so beautiful here, and like the weather had sucked so much. Like, it had been raining and like cold here, and we finally got a 70-something degree day, and I was like, we have to be outside. Like, we cannot stay here. Yeah. So we went out. We got outside, and we just went to a different park than we normally went to, and there was 4 ladies there, and one of them, Debbie, was like, we meet up all across like the Indianapolis like area, like at different parks, and we all kind of live all over, but we just we try to meet up. And did you want to be in our group? And I was like, sure. So I was pretty excited about that. We'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna make like lifelong friendships and connections with any of these ladies, but we'll see. But it's nice to be included and invited, especially living in a new city. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to keep us updated if you like hang out with them again, because that's exciting.
Yeah, well,
making friends already.
Yeah, trying. But anyways,
all right, yeah. So I think that's gonna wrap us up. Thank you guys so much for listening. Like we said, there will not be at the top of the show. There will not be a video version. So if you get to the end of this and are like, oh, I want to see what the video looks like, there will not be a video version. We will most likely upload the audio version to YouTube in some sort of format. But we won't have the full video because it's just too much to set up the video this week for us. But we had to give you a podcast, so regardless, we'll give you something to listen to this week. But yes, thank you for listening. Please subscribe. And honestly, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube and you didn't even know we have a YouTube, if you're new around here, go and subscribe to our YouTube. You can watch our other podcasts and the video version. We work really hard to give you guys really fun content over there, as well as if you don't know where our Instagram or our socials are, they're all going to be in the description box, and you can interact with us there. And yeah,
please remember to rate us 5 stars, leave us a comment,
and a review,
because we really want to hear everybody's like thoughts and your opinions, and if we connected to you in some way. So please let us know. What you think.
Yeah.
So on that note,
all right. Yeah, we will catch you guys next week.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.